time you can really unmute yourself and make sure ki, I'm going to make sure that you have an unmute option. And with this unmute option, can you unmute yourself? I can.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Good
morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning,
Good
sir.
morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Morning, sir. Good morning, sir.
Good
Okay.
morning, sir.
So good morning, everybody, and with a big round of applause, please help me welcome Dr. Bala all the way from the Emirates. Dr. Bala, good morning and welcome to the Totally Fit Community. Big round of applause for you.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning,
Good
ma'am.
morning, ma'am.
Good morning, Dr. Bala.
Dr. Bala, good morning and welcome.
Good
morning,
sir. Good morning, sir.
Good
Good
morning,
morning,
sir.
sir.
Good morning, sir.
Morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Dr. Bala, the stage is all yours. We're all excited for today's session.
Sure, Jayant.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning,
Sir. Good
Morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Sir.
Good morning, sir.
So, do you all see my screen?
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
Dr. Bala,
Yes,
it is absolutely clear and good to go.
Okay, great. So, good morning, everyone. It's so nice to see you. See a lot of people in this early morning today, and I'm really. I have to thank Mr. Jaint for inviting me for this talk. And well, I'm also curious to share some insights from my side regarding the gut health. So I will not delay more. I will directly get into the session and let's start. So I will start with my sweet memories. Like in my school time, I was a very average kid, a very just above average kid, and I was having a very normal and usual school life. So my friends and my brother in this world picture, and but I was always interested in sports. So I have been involved in some sports, and I have played for my state, which is Tamil Nadu, in the national level championships. So through this, I have traveled within India for the different states and different districts for playing games. And this is how my school time was. Then I will try to introduce my family now. So this is my family, and you can see I have two kids, and the elder one and the younger one, they are looking very brisk and active, and they are also involved in several like sport activities, as you see in the right corner down. And yes, this is very important in my perspective, because I think traveling is very important, because traveling can make somebody who is unknown to you familiar to you. At the same time, if you don't travel, even an unknown person can be an enemy.
Dr. Bala, you'll have to unmute yourself again, please.
Yes. So do you hear me? That's fine. Okay.
Yes,
So
we can
yes,
hear.
traveling is very important, and I really think that one should take their own time at least once in a while to know their self by themselves, and travel around and try to know several things, and this will help you definitely to build up your very good health. So as I said, I like to travel a lot, and I have traveled already a lot of countries. I have visited several places. I have seen diverse culture, diverse people, and diverse food, and diverse languages. So this diversity is very important. I will tell you more about this diversity. Diversity is always very important, and it's very healthy. So just to give a glimpse on my career perspective, so this is the time when I started my PhD in Germany, and I got my PhD. Then of course, I started with my labs, research, and as a research scientist. Then a lot of work, a lot of research, a lot of presentations, a lot of talks, a lot of like meetings and conferences. And this is to summarize my career journey, how it started. So I was basically born and brought up in the down south of India. Pondicherry, Kadalur is my downtown district. And from there, I moved to Delhi, where I was doing my short project for my one of my degrees. And then I moved to Germany for my PhD, where I also, after finishing PhD, I worked with Max Planck, which Mr. Jain already mentioned about it. It's a very prestigious research institute in the world, after Harvard and MIH and so on. So after that, after I finished my PhD, I was asked to move to Argentina, to the Science Ministry of Health. So where they wanted to have a collaboration with Germany and they wanted to build a lab. So they sent me there to build a lab and to do research in several fields, like, for example, research in lung, research in brain, research in heart, and of course, the gut health. So after that, I established the lab. We worked for several years there. Then I moved back to Germany and I worked as a scientist in Institute of Immunology. And then now currently I moved to UAE, and now here also I'm working as a scientist and doing a lot of research on gut health. Okay, so throughout the journey, as I mentioned, that I have worked with several research areas with lung, heart, and then of course the gut. So today, as Mr. Jain said, today is a very important day, and I think it's it's my pleasure to share with you my experience in this field of research, and also in general. So the topic will be today to how to unlock your total wellness. How to unlock your total wellness, and where is the gut health code lies in. So this is what we are going to find, like how the gut influences our overall health. Okay, and then there is a short disclaimer there. It's in a funny note. So I am not on my name. So I'm not a CSK fan or supporter or on neither ambassador. So CSK is just my name. So it's Bala Silva Kumar. Okay, so so you would have seen a lot of or heard a lot of times about all these phrases. So go to your gut, no guts, no glory, gut feeling, gut instincts, butterflies in stomach. So is it really all these things really impact from gut? I mean, is all this can be impacted by the gut? Well, we will see how it can. So first of all, what is gut? I know that in the audience today, there are several people who are not really from science background, and many can wonder what is gut. So gut is actually the region that is below the stomach, and you can say it's a full digestive tract where the digestion actually the digestion starts from mouth, but the gut means the tube that is just below the stomach. So it starts below the stomach and it ends until the rectum and anus. So this is called gut. And to go into more detail into the gut, so I wanted you all to assume, like, okay, we enter into the gut and then we are going inside the gut and seeing the section very in a microscopic way. Okay, so there we see what we see inside the gut, inside the intestine, you can say also a layer of epithelial cells with brush borders, a tiny hair-like things on the epithelial cells that you can see. So that is very important for absorbing the nutrients that from the food what we eat and so on. So there are also other cells that you can see. Some cells, they can produce hormones. Some cells that can act as a stem cells. They can repair the gut when there is any inflammation or any damage. And then you can see above this, there is a mucus layer, which is very important because when we eat some food, then it has to move down smoothly. So it needs a very slippery place. So this mucus really helps in there. And above the mucus, there is a lot of microorganisms. They are called gut microbiota. So gut microbiota means there is bacteria, there is fungi, there is even sometimes virus, there is parasites. All together, they are called microbiota. So in the gut, we have all these species that are living. So this is very important to know that inside the gut we have these healthy ones. So these bacteria, these fungus, these microbiota is usually the healthy combination ones. And then there is also some immune cells. Immune cells is like something, the cells that are usually fights against some germs, some virus, some bacteria. So this is also inside the gut, but it is actually opposite to the mucus layer, which means that is inside the intestine. So it is not within the intestine where the food goes, but it is inside the intestine. And then here, this is a more realistic picture, a cross section of the intestine. It's the tiny one of the hair that was cut in the cross section, and then we stain them in the labs, and then we can see the different cells, the laminar propria cells, the goblet cells, the capillaries, and all these different types of cells. Of course, the microbiota we cannot see here because it needs more magnification of microscope. We need a different microscope for that. Okay, and here you can see now different parts of gut, that it starts from stomach. Stomach is fully acidic, and usually in stomach there cannot be bacteria living because this is very acidic that even bacteria will be killed. But there are few bacteria that can still grow in stomach, like Helicobacter pylori, which is very common in India and also in other developing countries. So this is something very important to take a note on. Helicobacter pylori is one of the very few bacteria that grows or that can remain in the stomach, sustaining the acid. So you guys know the power of acid that is from the stomach. It has a pH of very, very less pH, and it can even directly pour the bones. So the mucus layer in the stomach, it really protects this our stomach from this acid. Okay. So and then after the stomach, as I mentioned, then the small intestine starts, where there is a bacterial load. As you can see in the bacterial load down to the intestine, there is a bacterial load that is slowly growing towards the large intestine from small intestine. And as you see, the oxygen level from the stomach, as it goes down, the oxygen level reduces. And then the pH increases. So the mucus also increases. So what does this shows is because this shows different bacteria lives in different places based on their required environment. Some bacteria needs oxygen, so these ones remains in the small intestine. Some doesn't need oxygen, so they are anaerobic bacteria, they lives in the colon. So every bacteria or every type of bacteria have a different role and different functions in our host mechanisms. Okay. And so what is the numbers? They are in trillions of bacteria. Actually, when we take the genetic material of the bacteria that we have in our body and compare it with our own genetic material, it is actually 2%, more or less 2% of, you can say 2% is our genes or our genetic material, and the rest all is bacteria's genetic material. So we have more bacteria than we ourselves within us. So there is almost 95% of the whole body microbiota, means the bacteria that we have always spread it all over our body. But among these bacteria, the 95% of the bacteria, the gut microbiota, remains in our gut. So what is the impact? Okay, what is so much on microbiota? Why it is so important? It is more than what we are. So what is so important? It actually impacts everything, like everything, from physiology to psychological functions, everything. It can impact. So this is a bit more scientific, but I will try to explain my best, because this is a graph, or this is a graph that explains about the diversity of these microbiota. See, the microbiota doesn't remain the same for you and me, or like to each other. So the microbiota is a fingerprint difference. So everybody has their own microbiota. It's even like a fingerprint. So in this case, this figure actually shows here the different microbiota diversity from Africans, from Asians, Americans, and so on. And then it also differs with the sex. Like if you're a male, if you're a female, then there is a diverse different microbiota population. Okay. And then with the age, like when you're 18 and when you're 55, there is again a different set of microbiota. Also, the BMI even affects the microbiota within us. So what is very what is very healthy when there is different types of bacteria? It's like there is a diversity. This is what I mentioned. You remember I mentioned before, like the diversity is important. Why? Because the diversity of bacteria is giving us the health. But unfortunately, in today's world, there are several factors that can affect this diversity of gut microbiota. We will talk about that a little bit in the next slide. But you see in the picture down, the plot down from the compared to the plot up, you see there is only one or two different bacteria, whereas in the top figure, you can see that there is multiple number of or multiple types of bacteria. So this difference, this diversity is very important for a gut health. Okay, and when there is this disturbed diversity, and when that becomes like a monopoly, like when there is only few bacteria types, this is called dysbiosis. So this dysbiosis can affect whole lot of your health. We will discuss in the next slides. So the diversity which I mentioned, that is important, that you can see from the previous slide. So what are the factors that affects this gut microbiota? So it starts actually from our birth. So it depends on the mode of birth, first of all. So how the birth happened. So if it happened via vaginal or if it happened via C-section. So when it is by vaginal, you will take, of course, mother's microbiota within you, and this, of course, develops. When you are C-section, this you lack. So there are several studies in research studies that shows that the babies that are with C-section have lack of immunity, lack of immune responses, and sometimes they are allergic to many things, and they are even in the older days they get developed a lot of other immune dysfunctions. Okay, and then the next one is breastfeeding. So if the mother is feeding the baby or not, so this also depends, and this also one of the factors that affects the microbiota. And of course the diet, which is very important. It's very important. Diet can change microbiota very quickly within a matter of 24 to 72 hours. And then the exercise, and there is disease and age and drugs. This is very important. Drugs, especially the antibiotics. Antibiotics are usually given to kill the bad bacteria or like the bad germs, usually the bad bacteria. But this most of the antibiotics doesn't have the specificity to kill only the bad bacteria. It will kill all our good bacteria as well. So I think for sure most of you would have experienced when you take antibiotic, you will have some gut issues. You will have some bowel issues, bowel movement issues. So you will have some loose stools, for example. So all this is because you are killing all your good bacteria, and so the digestion doesn't happen properly, and you have cramps and so on. So this is also a very major factor that affects the gut microbiota. And of course, the geography where you lie, where you live, where you grow up. This is also very important. For example, if you are growing in a village setup, so there you will be exposed to a lot of animals, like the pet animals, the cow and whatnot, so on, the plants and tree and sand and so on. But when you're in an urban place where you will not be easily exposed to such kind of places, so your microbiota is not such developed very well. Okay, so these are the factors that can affect our gut microbiota. Okay, so next we will see what is mean by gut health. What is gut health? So a healthy gut has a diverse bacterial species. I mentioned that already. And the functions, the gut health, the good healthy gut should function very well in digestion and also immunity. So if you have a very good healthy gut with which has a diverse microbiota, which should usually function very well in digestion and immunity. So these are some signs of gut health. So healthy gut. For example, you should have a regular and pain-free bowel movements. This is very important, and this is a very major sign that your gut is healthy or not. And you must have a consistent energy throughout the day. So you can see there is a lot of people like in the morning they are like bit down, and then they get some energy after some food, and then they again get down, then again they get high after food. So their energy levels are not consistent, so it's always like reaching up and down throughout the day. And that is also a sign of gut health, like if you don't have the consistent energy. And then you have a normal amount of gas and bloating formed, and then you have like the time, the healthy bowel movements with the time that I mentioned, and then the issue, the mental clarity, and then the healthy reactions to the food and stress. So when you don't have a good healthy gut, when you are stressed, your gut is affected. When you are like eating some different food, then your gut is affected. So your gut health, signs of healthy gut health means you must have a regular and pain-free bowel movements, consistent energy, and a normal amount of gas and bloating, healthy bowel transit time, which is like as I mentioned, 12 to 24 hours, and then the mental clarity, and then the healthy reactions to the stress, and then the food. Okay, so why the gut health matters? Gut health matters because we all know that the intestine and the stomach is like helps a lot in digestion, and it absorbs the nutrients and minerals from the food that we eat. So we have the digestion, which is done by the the breakdown of food, and then from the broke down food, then this get metabolized. We get a lot of nutrients and minerals from this food. And then very important here, because as I mentioned about the gut microbiota, that is 95% of gut microbiota, microbiota is within our gut. Likewise, 70% of the immune cells also lives in the gut. So this is also very important to note down, because this is where our immunity starts to learn. So this is where our immunity starts to train. So how many different bacteria that we are exposed in our early childhood is how much immune we are in our later time of life. So this is also very important. That's why gut health is very important. And the other most important is about the mood and the brain. So gut health is very important. Why? Because the last one, which is but not the least one, gut produces almost 90% of the serotonin. Serotonin, dopamine, and these are all like, as we know that they are all like happy hormones. It helps us to keep our mind and mood very happy and healthy. So the serotonin, dopamine, and endorphins, these are all secreted or helps to be secreted from the good health or like healthy gut. Okay, so you can imagine that these bacteria which are in the gut helps to secrete serotonin 90%, which is very good for the brain. So that's why, as also Mr. Jain introduced and said, that gut can be sometimes called as second brain. And as you see, the gut with the brain, the gut-brain axis, as shown in this figure, affects a huge lot of diseases. Like for example, a unhealthy gut can lead to anxiety, depression, Parkinson disease, Alzheimer disease, whatnot, and so on. So there are so many neuronal diseases that are affected by the gut. So this all has some scientific evidence and scientific publications and the research which was confirming that the unhealthy gut can lead to all these kind of several disease conditions. So that's why the gut is called second brain, and there is a deep link with mood and the mental health. So not only the brain, so gut, when the gut is not healthy, it also leads to several chronic diseases. Also, several research have showed that poor gut health is linked to obesity, diabetes, and heart diseases, but also huge lot of other diseases and organs that is linked to the gut. And not only the brain, you can see endocrine, like a lot of hormones, heart problems, and lungs. It is linked to lung, liver, pancreas, bone, muscles, skin, gut and reproductive axis, and you can see gut and kidney axis. So it is almost like everything. It affects everything. When you don't have a good health, gut health, it affects almost everything in your body. So to have a good health, of course, you need a good microbiota. So these are some of the signs of unhealthy gut. So what an unhealthy gut looks like or sounds like or be like, feel like. So bloating. So you eat anything, you eat very little bit, but then you get bloated and you feel full. So this is very common among many of us actually. So, and then you have constipation or a diarrhea. So this means you have a bad gut health. And then you have like frequent infections, frequent cold. That is also a sign of bad gut. And then you have like fatigue, low energy. This I already mentioned. And you have skin issues like acne, eczema. So all or the mood swings, anxiety, and or a brain fog. All these can be the signs of bad gut or an unhealthy gut. So what we should do to avoid to have a healthy gut. So we should there are few things that steps that we can take to avoid the to have a healthy gut. So one is the very important one, which is also a gift, I should say, for the humankind, for the to have the probiotics also from outside. What is probiotics? Probiotics are something like the yogurt that we have, or the any fermented products that we add, that we usually use in our food, in our culture. This is a highly probiotic diet that is to be included. So this helps to rebuild the gone bacteria, or the bacteria that are been killed by any other factors that I mentioned, like antibiotics or so on. So, and then you need a good sleep, enough sleep. That is very important also to have a healthy gut. And you should have include a lot of dietary fibers. This is also very important to note. Bacteria thrive and eat on fibers, mainly on fibers. And you should avoid taking the antibiotics. Of course, you should avoid any other consumptions, like even including smoking. And of course, a regular exercise, and eating a less sugar is always healthy, because sugars are very refined and they are usually digested already in the stomach or even in the first part of your small intestine. But as I mentioned, the bacteria live in the end part, so the sugar will not be available for the bacteria. So, and that is just going to give you the spike in the blood sugar. Of course, and then the last one, but not the least, which is very important, stress management. You do everything correct, but you have stress. This means you demolished everything again. So stress is one of the very important factor that will affect your gut health. So I talked about the probiotics. So what are probiotics? Here there are probiotics, and of course we have also our product from Herbalife, probiotic. So also there is a lot of foods, like for example yogurt, kefir, sauerkraut, and all these things. I don't know if you guys know about it. If you're not aware of it, you can ask me. I can explain you how to prepare or where to get it and so on. And similarly, there is also an option for us to maintain our gut health, to use the prebiotics. What are these prebiotics? Prebiotics are nothing but the food for this healthy good bacteria. So for example, banana is having a lot of fiber, barley is having a lot of fiber. So most of the food here that is mentioned here has a lot of fibers. So fibers are very important for the gut microbiota. And when the gut microbiota consumes this fiber, they multiply, grow all the good microbiotas, good bacteria. They are relying mostly on the fibers. So they really like that, and they really grow more, and they really keep the gut healthy.
The gut. Oh, this gets much easier to understand.
Okay, I think you would have got that a glimpse of it, and I think you all can go and watch this. This is very important and very interesting to know about our gut microbiota and how it can influence our health, the overall health. So the final takeaway for today's talk is the diversity of healthy gut microbiota is very important, because that signifies directly a healthy gut. And that healthy gut is equal to a better digestion, immunity, mood, and long-term wellness. And then a small daily habits, like having a prebiotic, having a probiotic, having a better sleep, better exercise, can improve, can give you a big difference. And then last but not least, start it today. Your gut will thank you for that. And just to close, listen to your gut. This is also one of the phrases that we started with in the beginning. Listen to your gut. In Germany, in German, they used to say all is good, which means everything is good. But actually, it's all is gut. So all is good, and thank you for your attention. And I would like to thank Mr. Jain. He was so nice, and he was very welcoming to for this presentation, and it was very also motivating and encouraging. And that was very nice from him. And also, I would like to thank the team of WellG, and of course my research team with all my research colleagues, scientists, and so on. And if you like to know more on scientific or informative, informations, you can follow my YouTube. That usually focuses on scientific and research-based, health related informations. And yes, I would like to close the session, Jayant.
Wow. What
you.
an amazing talk, Dr. Bala. Really, really amazing. Absolutely amazing things we've learned from you today. Just going to try and find my way back in. Okay, great. So let's give Dr. Bala a big round of applause. Dr. Bala, fantastic. What a big, what a lot of things I learned today. मुझे 25 साल हो गए हैं इस community में. I have been around doctors. I've been around so many people. एंड जिस तरीके से आपने एक्सप्लेन किया ना, द वे यू एक्सप्लेन्ड, आई थिंक अ लॉट ऑफ पीपल, आज बहुत सारे लोगों को वो क्लैरिटी मिली है ऑन व्हाट गट हेल्थ इज ऑल अबाउट. एंड जस्ट द वे जिस तरीके से आपने एक्सप्लेन किया, फॉर मी इट वाज वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग टू लर्न कि वेयर द गट स्टार्ट्स, गट शुरू कहाँ होती है और कहाँ से कहाँ तक जाती है. दैट वाज सो अमेजिंग. And then you really explained a diagram which almost felt like कि I have taken a submarine and gone into my gut. मैं अपनी gut के अंदर ही चला गया हूँ. And I was able to really understand a lot of things. In the Herbalife community, we people always talk about absorption of nutrition. हम जब cell activator की बात करते हैं, cell activator is a very special product जो हम बनाते हैं, जो हमारी एब्जॉर्प्शन को बेटर करता है. एंड वी ऑलवेज लर्न कि इट्स इन योर गट एंड योर माइक्रोबायोम डज लाइक दिस, एंड वी यूज्ड टू डू दिस एक्सरसाइज. एंड today when you showed that picture, I almost felt I could see the microbiome through that picture, and कैसे nutrients mucus के through absorb होते हैं. And that was a very very thing, क्योंकि Herbalife is always, we are always talking about absorption of nutrition. आई थिंक जैसे आज आपने एक्सप्लेन किया, हम में से बहुत सारे लोगों को ये और बेटर अंडरस्टैंडिंग है कि एब्जॉर्प्शन कैसे टेक प्लेस करता है. दैट वाज रियली रियली अमेजिंग. एंड व्हाट वाज रियली अमेजिंग इज जिस तरीके से आपने एक्सप्लेन किया ना, है लाइक अ बुक फुल ऑफ नोट्स हियर. द वे यू एक्सप्लेन कि चाइल्ड बर्थ से और ज्योग्राफी से और एनवायरनमेंट से कैसे गट हेल्थ अफेक्ट करती है. एंड आई वाज रियली रियली इंटरेस्टिंग. और मुझे लगा एक स्लाइड जो आपने दिखाई, द थिंग्स दैट इम्प्रूव गट हेल्थ, आई ऑलमोस्ट फेल्ट दैट यू आर एक्सप्लेनिंग द टोटली फिट कम्युनिटी. बिकॉज वी टॉक अबाउट ईटिंग राइट, हम एक्सरसाइज के बारे में बात करते हैं. मे बी वी शो दैट स्लाइड just for everyone's benefit, because I know Dr. Bala showed this slide and I was immediately looking at this slide, Dr. Bala. This is what we really use to explain everybody, right? कि हम healthy eating को encourage करते हैं, and you really gave us a great picture कि healthy eating कैसे करनी है. You also helped a lot of people understand कि हमारे कौन से products कब use करने हैं. I have the probiotic in my hand, and you explained beautifully कि इसमें क्या अलग-अलग variety के bacteria हैं, which is great. Uh, I really understood the benefit of aloe. By the way, the aloe has always been my favorite drink. For whatever reason, I love the taste, I love everything, and I drink a lot of aloe. And मुझे मालूम है digestive health में help करता है. But today, for the first time, I understood कि the aloe is a prebiotic, something I did not know. So really great learning for me. एंड नाउ आई एम बिगनिंग टू अंडरस्टैंड एलो कैसे डाइजेशन को सपोर्ट करता है, क्लेंजिंग को सपोर्ट करता है, एंड उसका एग्जैक्ट रोल क्या है. दैट वाज अमेजिंग. एंड देन यू रियली टॉक्ड अबाउट द फाइबर, एंड वी हैव ऑलवेज लुक्ड एट फाइबर एज अ प्रोडक्ट फॉर क्लेंजिंग, फैट एब्जॉर्प्शन. मगर फाइबर का रोल फॉर prebiotic is something that got enhanced in my mind. So this was really, really amazing just to understand कि Herbalife has given us so many different things जो हम यूज करते हैं. So this is really interesting. I think हम अभी तक करते आए हैं, but the why has become more clear for us today. And obviously you explained कि आप exercise करो, आपका mood अच्छा रहेगा, and that is why we have regular exercise in the Totally Fit community. The mind and stress management, जिसकी वजह से we do community and group support, we do our challenges. So it really felt like the Totally Fit community is a gut health champion today. So that is something which was really, really amazing for me to understand, for everyone to understand. And I love the slide जो आप अभी share कर रहे हैं, because this is exactly what Totally Fit encourages. हम लोगों को sleep better करने के लिए कहते हैं, हम fiber improve कराते हैं through the diet and through active fiber complex. Obviously we do not encourage smoking, and exercise के लिए we have so many sessions. And I think it is really amazing. So I think, as Dr. Bala is saying, before we go to question and answers, there are some questions that are coming in, Dr. Bala, and I would like to just ask your expert opinion on some of these questions. जो भी चीजें आपने explain करी, we do it beautifully in the Totally Fit community. So, ladies and gentlemen, first of all, one big round of applause for Dr. Bala. What an amazing session today. बहुत सारी चीजें हमने सीखी, and I am sure a lot of people will be going to your YouTube channel to learn, because आपने इतने complex subject को जिस simplicity से हमें explain किया है, we loved it. Actually, absolutely amazing.